was your journey from acting and being nominated for an Emmy to producing films? How did you go from one to the other?
Well, I was very blessed to get a wonderful role that changes your life with LA Law, and it opens up so many doors. And at the same time, I met my wife, who I've been married to for 28 years, and we had 4 sons. And, you know, there's a part of you that wants to be cool and pick all the right projects and have people come to you, and there's a part where you're just a dad who's got to support your kids and your family. And I will say that, you know, in hindsight, I did a lot of things that I think, you know, not so cool, not bad, but just they're hipper choices. You could sort of navigate your career if you want to, but you also, my family meant everything to me. My family is everything to me. And I made choices to make sure my family was taken care of. In fact, I was just with my 18-year-old son. I'm leaving to go off to Europe tonight, and he's at the house by himself. And I could see he looked a little sad. And I just said, you know, because I know he's going off to school. My wife's already over in Europe. His brothers are out, and he's there alone. And I just said, we're everything. We have each other. We'll always have each other, and spent a good hour with him. But so I did a lot of things. You know, I had wonderful bits of successes, usually more with film, which is strange, with like Major League. I was telling a story tonight that I was auditioning for an episode of Gilmore Girls with 10 guys who kind of had gone up the ranks with me, and I'm in this room, and I'm thinking, what am I doing here? And I go in this audition room, and there's like 15 people in there that are auditioning for this one little role on an episode of the Gilmore Girls after everything I'd been through. Right. And I looked at him, and I walked out, and I said, I'm just not really, I can't, no, thank you. Gilmore, bye. And I got a phone call from my manager right after and says, Shane Black and Joel Silver want you in Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. So stuff was like, just things would happen. But the change happened in my life about 8 years ago. My dad passed away, and I was sitting with a bag of ashes one day. And you know, wonderful family, wonderful career, and exquisite wife. I have everything you want, but I sat with this bag of ashes. I said, something's wrong. Something's missing. And I made a little film. I wrote a little film called Rust that just was from the heart about a pastor who had lost his faith, lost his way, kind of a midlife crisis story, and shot it up in Canada, and it somehow got in the Hollywood Reporter. Sony Pictures called up, who had just released Fireproof, said, we'd like to put this movie out. I went, really? And then I started thinking, oh, wow, somebody's guiding me here. And we made this little movie. They said, you know, we didn't know you were a Christian filmmaker. I said, yes, sir, I am. And I've made, with Chris at our company, Home Theater Films, we've made 8 films now that, and every time, I've got a story today that came up that I wanted to kind of veer away. They keep pulling me back in. He keeps pulling me back in to write these stories because they seem to make so much sense to me, and they fulfill that void of where I was with everything in my life when I looked at that bag of ashes and thought, that's my dad. That was the president of Little League. And the beautiful thing about this film is that it was the first time I haven't written and directed one of our films, and it's just such a blessing in Dallas the other day to see it on a big screen. A blessing and a kind of a curse, because I thought, that's so much better than any film that I've ever directed and written. But just to be able to hand it off and have wonderful people and be so surprised and amazed, and now to think that I can actually go and look for other projects, which brings me to one thing I do want to say, because I know I have to go in a minute. You're going to watch an incredible film. I mean, really, I've let each person up here know how great they are and what wonderful job they've done. But do not forget that behind the scenes there are 75 students at Regent who participated. You aren't going to get to see it. They aren't going to get the laughs. They aren't going to get any of that. But what you see up there would not have happened without this participation, not only from the university, but these incredible students. And so for me, it's a great, funny movie. I see funny movies all the time, you know, but this is an extraordinary experience to know that we can integrate with a school like this, and we can learn, and we can pass on knowledge, and it sort of rises above the film for me. And you'll forget it, but just after you see it, then just remember back all these Regent kids who really just came 1,000% to play and did an extraordinary job.